All right? So for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I will sit back too.
In this program, we're going to talk about a term that we all have heard, but we may not understand. The term is immunity. And to help us focus on the importance of this, listen. Alcohol seems to affect many wings of the immune system, including the cells that help decrease HIV replication in the peripheral blood. This, according to a survey reported in the Journal of Infectious Diseases, in fact says it took 3 beers consumed over just 2 days to impair the body's immunological response. Now, you may not have heard all of that, so we're going to replay it with our guest, Dr. Benjamin Lau. Dr. Lau, we're glad to welcome you here. You are professor of microbiology and immunology at Loma Linda University School of Medicine. Did I get all that right?
You got it perfectly right, Dan.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here. Dr. Cheng, always. We're glad to have you here. And Dr. Nebla. Now, give us a definition, a layperson, of the immune system. Why do we need it? What does it do?
Okay, the immune system is a system that will make you feel good, keep you healthy. Is that lay enough?
That is, we all want to be healthy. We all want to feel good. I think you used the word earlier, too, the defense system.
That's right. The immune system is almost like the United States Department of Defense. So it maintains the peace, national peace, and protects against foreign invaders.
And we're talking about germs, all kinds of disease.
That's right.
Now, this quotation that I read at the outset here says just 2 beers, or 3 beers rather, over 2 days can adversely affect our immune system. Is that really true?
That's true if it's published. Did you say it's published?
Yes, it's
but anyway, we can demonstrate.
No, listen. Are you suggesting that everything that's published is
No,
true?
not at all, not at all. But I have personal experience. We can demonstrate that very easily then. In the laboratory, I can put equivalent of 2 beers into my test tube with these immune cells.
Okay.
I can make them sleep. They will not work anymore.
Is that right? Wow. Just 2 beers. On a hot day, you know, refreshing kind of thing, and that might let us catch a cold more easily, you're suggesting?
Definitely, or you just have a chronic fatigue, that kind of situation.
Well, how about scary things, so like cancer or HIV, AIDS? Could it really be that bad?
Sure. It may take a little longer time. Now, in terms of talking about fighting HIV or cancer, we know that T lymphocytes is most important. Incidentally, Becky, what's T lymphocytes? What's T stand for?
Thymus derived.
That's right. That's
now, wait a minute.
Very good.
You're getting beyond us here. Thymus what?
Thymus derived lymphocytes. We have 2 kinds of lymphocytes. One is called B lymphocytes. Of course, B does not stand for Becky. B stands for bone marrow derived.
Okay.
And the T lymphocyte derived from
the
thymus. Thymus. So T lymphocytes are very important in fighting cancer and fighting all viral diseases.
And anything that reduces our immunity makes us more susceptible to these diseases.
Exactly.
Well, you mentioned alcohol. Are there other more common things? I don't drink alcohol. That might also reduce the defense system of the body?
That you're right. Actually, we can probably have a dozen or more things that will affect. But let's talk about some legalized drugs.
Okay.
Alcohol is one of it. Right?
Okay.
And give me 2 others.
Tobacco.
Tobacco, and one more, caffeine or coffee. Okay.
Oh, you mean caffeine can affect the immune system?
That's right. And caffeine, there's a study being shown that people using, let's say, 5 or 6 cups of a coffee, and we can demonstrate the suppression of the immune cells very easily. Even 2 to 3 cups sometimes will show a depression of the immune function too.
Okay, let's talk about also for the mother of small children in the home. How do we protect them? What might affect the immune system of the little children, and what can she know to help protect them?
Well, she should avoid all these legalized drugs, number one. And when I talk about legalized drugs, I refer to coffee and alcohol and tobacco. So I have an acronym, just CAT, C-A-T, so you all remember that.
Okay.
All these three legalized drugs are known to suppress immune function.
Okay.
And now take alcohol. Alcohol, for example, if a mother drinks alcohol during pregnancy, it carries a very, very severe, profound deficit on the fetus. Now,
But Dr. Lau, I give cough medicines to my children.
That's right.
And when you read the label on a lot of cough medicines, they have alcohol in them. Are you suggesting that I don't give my children even cough medicine?
well, you always have this calculated risk, you might say. So you don't use it too often. If you can avoid not to use it, would be even better.
But precisely the time that I want my child's immune system to
go
be
up.
going up, I'm giving them something that's making it go down.
Oh, even more common, what about sugar? You know, my kids, they love sugar.
Sugar, I love to talk about sugar. I did a study. My colleagues and I did a study quite a few years ago.
Listen, I'm going to ask you. I
okay.
can tell that this is going to be an important thing, and I don't want to break it in the middle, so before you start, we'll go to break and be right back. On this segment of Lifestyle Magazine, we're talking about immunity and how to keep it strong. And you said you love to talk about sugar in a study.
Oh, I'm going to tell you very briefly. Several years ago, my colleagues and I did a study. We fed some volunteers with white sugar. And half an hour later, we took the blood from these volunteers and run a test. And these white cells just refuse to kill bacteria. Normally, they will kill bacteria, but they just refuse to do so. The refusal lasts for several hours. And then another occasion, we fed these volunteers with starch. And we checked the blood again, and their white cells just performed perfectly. Starch did not touch them, but the white sugar did.
How much sugar was it?
You have to ask that. I guess I have to tell you. It's equivalent to about 2 to 3 donuts. It's 3 ounces.
Wow.
So that means that if I were to drink a soda, that's the effect that I'm going to expect?
You may expect some negative effect, but if you are good in everything else, it may not bother you. See, there's a lot of other factors.
But he's saying an amount as small as the sugar in one soda would have this adverse effect.
So it has some effect, but you may not be able to see the effect.
Okay.
If you have a lot of good factors that will compensate it.
So what I'm hearing you say is that if I am getting sick, the last thing I want to do is to pile on a bunch of sugar because I will put my defense mechanism straight to sleep.
Exactly.
I'll get worse.
Exactly. I train my patient very well now, Nat. When the patient come to me, they said, "Doctor, I have a cold." My wife usually will ask them, "Did you have some sweet?" They say, "Yes, I got cakes, pies, and ice cream, and 3 last night." And they all knew what's going on. And so
if you've got a household full of sick children, the last thing you want to do is to introduce sugar in there. You're going to get everybody sick in a hurry. That's
you
what
said it right.
Okay. Some of your writings say, besides CAT, I thought that was clever. Besides CAT affecting your immune system, various foods can have a negative effect as well. You've mentioned sweets now. Are there other foods that may be bad actors as far as keeping a healthy immune system?
Another food I would say would be just a high-fat diet. We all heard about fats are no good for your heart, fats is not good for your weight, and all these things. But we know fat also affects immune function. Let me tell you this. In the laboratory, I grow my cells, lymphocytes, all these cells, in the culture on very, very low fat. If I add a little bit more fat to them, to the culture, these cells grow faster. And they die faster too. But if I put some more fat to it, they just don't grow at all. So I often thought of this, what happens in the test tube, will that also happen in your body? You see, it's hard to see in the body, but we certainly can see it in a test tube.
But those cells are just a sample of what makes up the total person, and so if it happens in the test tube, it happens in the body, doesn't it?
You are a good scientist.
That's the best thing that's ever been said about me, frankly. Listen, Dr. Lau, you have been kind enough to share some of your published material with us, and for anybody in the audience who would like to be able to read this again, because this scientist, he passes it by us so quickly here, we may not catch it all. If you'd like to read it again, you can write to us here at Lifestyle Magazine, and we'll send you a copy of Dr. Lau's article, Your Life and Lifestyle, having to do with keeping a healthy immune system. Is it ever too late? I mean, say we've fatted our immune system out. Is it ever too late to do something about strengthening the immune system?
Never too late. Never too late until a person dies. It's never too late.
We're still breathing here, and so we got a chance. Where would you start? I mean, if you've been sweets and fats and not taking care, because we didn't know. You see, a lot of us didn't know this. And if we didn't know, how can we take first steps to turn that around?
Since we're talking about the beverages and food, maybe the first area we should improve our diet.